Okay, here we go.
Okay. So warm welcome to everyone. Hi, and happy to be here. We have been waiting for this time for kind of a long time, not that much, but really, really. We have been thinking all days and talking during the summer vacation and preparing this kickoff session. And I'm really happy that some of you could make it, and then you're here, and kind of like reunion for with some of you, and then for the first time, I'm meeting you online. I'm really happy to be here. As you know me, my name is Ebra Gohari. I'm the founding director of Caravantures, and I've been trying to create some impact around myself through my journey. Yeah. So about today and about Caravantures. Let's see. Let's move forward. Yeah, why is not moving this one? So it's lost. So, yeah. Okay. About us. So we are the founders of Caravantures, and so I've been doing a lot of entrepreneurial activities during my life since really early childhood. I was 10, and then after that, after some decades, I met Puya. I was really happy. So we have met. Even it happened through an Instagram message, I remember. And then our journey started that time. We have had a lot of people, and most probably ourselves first. And then during the last 3 years, 4 years, I have had the privilege to meet Saeed as a mentor. I have been his mentor, and then tried to kind of like help him in his own journey through startup and what he has been doing. But the thing here is like what we have in common is the mistakes and failures that we have done. So it gave us a lot of feedback, a lot of expertise to be here and try to also get help from you amazing guys with I think with more than some 100 years of experience we are gathering together with our Caravan cards. I'm really happy about that. And so within the last 7 years to 2017, we have been building a journey for our country mates, startups, and some from other countries to start and build their journey through entrepreneurial life and startup things in Europe, especially from Finland. And within this experience of 7 years and hearing many of your experiences through this domestic and international expansion of the startups that you have been creating and the startups that you have been mentoring. So we have tried to gather all these experiences and then move forward with this something new. So through this journey, we were thinking, okay, we shouldn't be only, rely on just only us and then our experiences. We need some, beyond this border. That's why we have come up with the discussion and then try to convince these two gentlemen here as venture partners. These are who are like having experience of building something unique throughout their journey. So Peter Vesterbacka, maybe you know him. He is the co-founder of Slush and co-founder of Angry Birds, and they have been building a journey now within these two actually results and achievements. The Slush is the biggest startup event on the planet so far. 4 trillion euro asset under management last year, and more than 13,000 people are coming to Slush every November in Helsinki, to Helsinki. And the co-founder of an amazing game, Angry Birds, Wolf Entertainment. And out of 10 people in the whole world, 9 of them, they know that the brand. So we have just agreed him on board that you can help us to open all the doors for our future startups and co-arrangements. And the other guy, Peter Loukianoff, he's like a VC guy from Silicon Valley, having the record of being involved in many big names like Yandex, Coursera, and now he's one of the he's the CEO of the Portal VC, and now he's sitting there. Why we have this guy as a venture partner joining us? Because we have been thinking, okay, in Europe shouldn't be the end of destination, so we have to complete this bridge. And if you imagine as an ecosystem, so all those developing countries who are aiming to relocate or co-locate to European market, and then from here they need to expand and then also go beyond this border and as a pan-European market. So the first market that they are thinking is North US. So why not we complete this bridge over Caravantures ecosystem and the network? So then in that case, we are soon enough thinking that if something is cooking for us in the North US, otherwise we are not wasting and waiting for 3 to 5 years to reach that moment. So this is our first group of venture partners, and this is the amazing part: the network of I cannot even explain it. So the network of people who have different backgrounds, different mentalities, different mindsets, different experiences throughout different journeys. So this journey and these experiences, not only I don't see it as experience, is also a combination of experience, living in another country, and then having or carrying home country and the culture together, and then combine it and then adapt it to the new environment, new world. So this is exactly the future of our future startups and their experiences. They will have these challenges and these things in their future life, which is happening through Caravantures network. And you guys are here, you gathered together to make it happen in a different way. Many acceleration and accelerator programs are available throughout the world, incubation programs, startup studios. But if you look at each and every one, so you will find something different, something lacks, something shortages. What we have been investigating, what we have been trying to do is like, okay, try to vanish all of them, try to eliminate or lower them as much as possible. So that's why you guys are here. So you are here to even like build it even larger. Then we are able to follow the vision and the mission that is nothing is impossible. The only thing is impossible is impossible. So we are going to make it happen, and then we are from different worlds, from Uber, from Google, from Microsoft, from Atlassian, and from many different experiences, and even from the local of our home countries, we are having some experiences that are invaluable. This is my statement. This is invaluable. I'm really happy about that. And I'm really thanking you all guys to trust us, join us, and then having the same mutual goal together to move forward. And then I'm seeing like faces that their smiles, their pictures are giving me, each of them give me something. I'm really happy about that. And then I hope our future startups and this cohort, they will have the same feeling like me. And then again, thank you for being active on the professional platform like LinkedIn, and then sharing those things forward to make it happen and then to grow. So, make the story short, and next is like one of my privilege, meeting the guy who was standing on the stage, and then I was like, in the audience was listening to him, try to follow what he was like trying to explain, and then also giving us as the host on the stage. And then later on, we haven't had the chance to meet and talk. But when I messaged him on LinkedIn, he told me that, hey, I remembered you through the audience because I was like the only guy with the hat and the long beard, probably. But now we are working together. I'm really happy that Yoad is here. Yoad Mick is one of the greatest guys who is unlocking the limitless possibilities throughout his journey and his advice. So give Yoad the floor, and we're really interested to hear you. Yes, if you are starting talking, so still, I think you are on mute. So until Yoad is starting up, I just go through the list of participants here.
We have Yoad here, but I saw him in the beginning, but
Probably there is
I don't
some
know
connection.
yeah.
You can't unmute. Why?
Okay, let me. I don't know what's.
Maybe he needs to change the audio source in his computer. Sorry, guys, to interrupt.
Yeah,
No worries.
hey, Daron, no worries. Thank you for that. He left and then maybe he's coming back. Yes, you are joined.
Okay.
Oh, yo, mate. Hey.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
You can hear me go like this?
Yes.
Right. Not many people can mute me, because apparently you're one of the first.
Okay.
Okay, well, first of all, this is a great pleasure to be here and join you guys. This is an amazing journey, like Ebra said, and this is going to be amazing. And this is the energy that we're going to have, and we're starting online. We're going to meet physical here in Helsinki, and we're really going to make. We're going to help you guys make the change that you really want to create. Shall you choose? And you'll see how much important choice is in everything that we do. So to get started, I have about 25 to 30 minutes, which is not a lot of time, but let's make the most of it. And we'll try to do as much as we can during this time. Of course, it's not the only time you'll meet me during the program. We'll have more workshops together. We'll be also on the one-on-ones that we can do. This is just a taste of the mindset that we need to develop in order to really make the transition from where you are to where you want to be, physically, mentally, and it all starts really with the mindset itself. So I call myself an imagination coach, which is something that I imagined, and you'll soon see why this is such an important aspect. How many, by the way, think that you can close the presentation, by the way? The answer. How many of you, by the way, think that imagination is for kids?
It's for kids? No.
For kids, just for kids. Cartoons and Marvel things, and oh, come on, at least give me one hand.
Yeah.
All right, good. I'm happy. So I'm gonna switch. I'm gonna start presenting. If I can have the possibility to.
Yes.
Cool.
Let's see if we can. I will stop presenting.
Yep, so I'll take over.
Yes.
Cool. Okay, so everybody can see the presentation?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So I talk fast. I talk in an American style. So anybody that feels this is too fast and it's missing you, raise your hand right in the chat. We'll slow down. There's a lot to go through, and I'm trying to do as much as I can to drop on you. There will be self-work that follows this. This is not just the end of it. And I will give you that opportunity to do so and to send things to me, and so you have some accountability. That sound good? I like the little nods. Yes. All right. Thank you. You have emoji. Somebody discovered it. There you go. Good job. Cool. So basically, we're starting with this bombastic saying that change starts with imagination, and imagination is a crazy important and future-shaping tool that we have right in our own heads, but we don't know how to use it in the right way. So we're going to be learning to harness imagination as a super tool to literally shape the future you choose. Sounds like a huge, huge promise, and shall you choose, it'll actually be the case as well. So just quickly to understand where I'm coming from, this is not to present a CV, but just sort of show you where my stops, and so understand that all of what I'm telling you now came from the practice of being in different places, being many years in the Army, studying psychology, being a stage actor, a lot of years in advertising, CMO in companies, and so on. What I learned on different things is that I'm also a reverse engineer. When I stopped and went back and understood what have I done through all these different places and what really made me take people with me where I wanted to go, and I discovered that it is actually imagination. When I realized that imagination was evident in every single place, I realized that this is something that I could pass on, develop this training, and really, so the training developed from practice, from years of seeing it sort of in the field and in the business, and then taking it to the training itself and seeing what people. So it's not coming to you with an absolute truth. It's saying this is an opportunity for you to make a change. If you choose to do it, take it, own it, and make it your own. If you make it your own, you'll see the difference. If you choose to sit and wait for someone to do this to you, to someone to move you, it's called the waiting place. If you just sit there and wait, nothing will happen. And this is actually true for this entire program. This is not a normal accelerator, as Ebra said, but it could be. If you choose that it's just another one. If you choose you're just going to sit there and let things happen to you, nothing will happen to you. It will not move the needle. The people who are here have been selected, and this is what I was told as well, that they choose to be here, choose to make a crazy transition from where you are physically here, and that demands a lot of work from you, but it's really worth it. So what I learned over the years in every single KPI that I worked in, every single place that I work with, is that the most important KPI, and just to remind us all, KPI is key performance indicators, those things that measure our success, and people look at them as outcomes or do or die situations. I always look at them as milestones to lead me down an impact that I want to create, whether it be a brand or the success of a business that I worked in. And I realized that the ones who were making the key performance indicator, the performance was really a P that stood for people. So I understand that my own people were the ones who were making that with me. Though I understood that in order to harness their passion and their innovation and their creativity and their want to show up and be there when it's hard, not when it's easy, and not leave the company even when things get really rocky. And this is especially true in a startup situation and a scale-up situation. I realized that I have to see them and let them feel that they are part owners of this journey. And therefore, then instead of just coming and tell them, be with me, I had to prove it to them in the most intimate and personal thing that I can show them and empower them that I see. And that thing is actually their imagination. And therefore, the key KPI has always been keep people imagining. And if I could keep people imagining, what I discover is that people will be with me when things get hard, when they need to push, they will feel psychologically safe, so they will trust, and they will be with me on the journey and not for me and not because of me and not in fear of me and so on and so forth. They will be part owners. And that didn't take a single inch away from my authority, not as a captain and not as a boss and not as a team leader. In any of these cases, if anything, it empowered me because the team became more than the sum of its parts. Does that make sense to you guys? If it makes sense to you guys, do that little ting, 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 ting. There you go, or with the hands. Cool. Why do I talk to you about images? I'm not the only one who does that. The 2024 your Global Human Capital Trends Report by Deloitte Insights, which I encourage you to follow if you're following Harvard Business Review. This is one of those things that sort of dictate where the business world and the HR world and the people world is sort of going to. And they said that organizations need most in a disrupted and boundaryless age is towards more imagination, specifically talking about generative AI and other technologies that are exposing an imagination deficit and scaling human capabilities like curiosity, empathy can help organizations replenish it. So I love this. And of course, I've seen this a lot, but this is another proof that this is being studied and it being recommended to companies from cultivating imagination all the way to future planning and strategy, which is integrating imagination into strategy and so on. We'll get into that in the next sessions, but understand that this is so much more than creativity or innovation. This is the core of the business, and how are you creating the impact for the future, especially when the future is not around you, but it is in other places, it is global. This is super important to understand. What are we actually creating out there, and how do we imagine it first, and then bring ourselves to that? So this is the proof of it. And this is already implemented, this crazy idea is implemented. Just to give you an idea, lots of companies, organizations, huge one. There's also Lindstrom and SodaStream, and lots of accelerators, such as we're doing here. Lots of academic institutions working with researchers to transfer them over to being entrepreneurs and creating spin-offs. So a lot of deep tech. So this is, you guys are not the first. It's happening all around. It's catching speed more and more. The imagine analogy is simple. I call what I do imagine, which is the acronym of an imagination gym. And basically, just like you work on your muscles, when you strengthen a muscle, then in a gym, in training, in a safe area, you basically grow the muscle to be strong. And after that, you can use that for anything, basically anything. You can groceries, looking good on the beach, lifting your kids, swimming, whatever you want. Same thing, it comes with your imagination. If you train imagination to shift from reactive imagination to proactive imagination, which we'll be talking about what that means, we can actually apply it to so many different things, from curiosity to perception to empathy to listening to sharing and brainstorming to create creative and divergent thinking and passing internal blocks. And these are just the tip of the fork. You can really apply it just like a muscle in any way. Therefore, we treat imagination like a muscle, which means it must be trained. The fact that it is a mental capacity does not mean that, okay, I'm done. If you understand that you have to work on your muscle little by little in order to get it strong, then same thing applies here. You have to work until you make your subconscious listen to you, not just the conscious, because this is really what's stopping you. So this is the analogy. This is why we train. This is why there's a flow. This is why there's a dedication to doing the exercises and the training, sticking to the process and not just the outcome every day, just like you would when you train a muscle. So basically, imagination is really anything that happens in the future, right? Anything that happens from now to the future. So now, and a little bit more. And everything that happens there is change. It is unknown, it is uncertain, and therefore it is changed from the situation we have now. So basically, when we all look to create change, anything in the future is change. So imagination really does that. And the problem is that change is hard to do. And just to understand, we are all very comfortable in our comfort zone. Who among you is comfortable in their comfort zone? Yes, you're not comfortable. Yes, no thumbs. It's right, because our comfort zone is comfortable, but sometimes because we have so many aspirations that are beyond and demand change, we find ourselves that we're uncomfortable in our comfort zone. Now, I don't need to explain it to you, because you could have sat there in your home country, in your job, in your bliss, and just not moved anything. But the fact that you're creating all these change means that you're uncomfortable in your comfort zone and you're trying to create change. So basically, comfort zone exists, we're living in here, and there's the uncomfort zone that lives out there. Now, I'm showing this just to understand what we have to break here. Your conscious will want to be there in the uncomfort zone, because this is where we live, in our dreams and our goals, in our ambitions and whatnot. So we're all living there thinking the great thoughts of what we can do. But your subconscious, which means is what's your default, is actually keeps you in your comfort zone, because anything outside that is actually threatening. We are creatures that are wired for survival. We're not wired for happiness. We're not wired for achieving our best form of self. We're not wired for that. We might want that, but we are wired, and our default is for survival. Anything that is outside the comfort zone, that is threatening in some way, that will be cast out of the tribe, that we will be cast out of society, that we will risk our health and so on, is our default is to just back up into the comfort zone, because our subconscious will drag us there with a multitude of blocks and limitations that are usually self-made just to keep us quote unquote safe. So conscious will live in the uncomfort zone, and the subconscious will keep you there. This is your battle every single day. Now, the change that you want, that exists out there in the uncomfort zone. As we said, all the dreams and goals and wanting and the impact and changing the world with your ideas and being millionaires and whatnot is on your mind. That is existing out there because it doesn't exist right now. And the comfort zone is reacting to what is existing at the moment. And it wants to keep it. Anything outside is change. So the question is, why can't we just pop the bubble or move out? Because on the outskirts of the comfort zone are your blocks, are your limitations. And they are very, very scary. Every time you get towards them, you get this feeling. You ever get the feeling when you get on stage or you're having a hard conversation or you suddenly get nervous and you feel it here? You don't feel it here, you feel it here, right? Your body reacts. How many of you know that you feel that in your body? Thumbs up, thumbs down. Okay, we got a few of them. You guys know where that thumb is? Do you want us to go over it? There you go. Nice. So if you feel that, basically that is you getting to the edge of your comfort zone. That's not. So it's the silly question of how to think out of the box is relevant to every time to specific the problem that we're dealing with. The real question is, can you think out of your comfort zone, or moreover, can you step out of your comfort zone? Because thinking is fine, but getting close to it, you get all nervous, then you back up. Okay, so this is the problem that we're facing at the moment. The wonderful thing about comfort zones is it can be expanded. As you train it, you can't pop it, but you can push it. Every time you do something that sits at the edge of your comfort zone, you see that you survived, and you push it a little more, you push it a little more, you push it a little more, you push it a little more. So it's not just gaining more experience, it's basically your subconscious understanding that it's okay to be at the edge and still live, and it's not threatening, and it expands. So the training literally expands our comfort zone. And as you expand your comfort zone, you actually add more of that area of change. So again, you push your blocks out further and further, but long and behold, as you see, the more you push it, the more you get to creating the change that you want. The more the change that you want becomes your comfort zone. You understand? Yes, we understand this. This is the push. This is the training that we do. As the more you do this, the more you develop the mindset to continuously grow, meaning a growth mindset is a proactive imagination mindset. All the time thinking, taking the leap into what could be, what is the good, what is the opportunity. That's what we keep doing. But to do that, we have to do it in incremental steps. And what we have to understand is also that the more we do this, the more we work through play, and play is another word to say, that's also something that's very much attributed to kids. But play is so important for the adults because what it does is just like a gym to a muscle. A gym is a safe place to train your muscle with tools that are meant to do that without hurting, to push it to the edge but not hurt it. Same thing with play. Play allows you to get close to the edges of your comfort zone, to feel that cringe, to feel that, but still experience what it is, and then you learn to grow. Okay, so continuously doing play is actually a very serious business. And as you do that, it allows you to go. If people around here think that the only way you can train stress is in stressful situations, good luck. Really good luck, because your stress level is going to, let's put it this way, your cholesterol level is going to catch up before your comfort zone really expands. So basically, this is why we take a lot of different experiences during the workshops to get close to that. The experiences are just tools to get to the edges of our comfort zone. And bring us to the last point. This is actually where the reactive imagination that I told you lives. The reactive imagination lives within the comfort zone. It looks at everything that exists first, puts the limitations down, and then you reactively imagine in it. And this is what you do every day, all the time. This is your default. You think you're imagining, but since you're imagining within the limitations of the comfort zone, you're actually using creativity. Creativity and imagination are not the same thing. Creativity is imagination in action. When you can see where your imagining creativity will get you there. If you're working with a reactive imagination state, basically you're saying, you know what? I'm cool with going into unexpected and uncertain and unknown. But before I do that, just tell me what to expect and tell me what's going to be in the unknown. And if you tell me that, I have no problem going into the unknown. That's going to be great. And this is called the paradox of imagination, or in other words, reactive imagination. Something happens and you react. Something happens and you react. Exist in reality and you react. To create the change is exactly where I put the words proactive imagination. Proactive imagination is the leap outside the comfort zone. And by the way, I just gave a talk about AI and where imagination is the only chance we have against AI or to work with AI. And basically having a chat with ChatGPT and getting really into the critical mode, we agreed basically that the ability to leap into a future that is not defined by existing limitations is something that a large language model cannot do, and we can do. And therefore, if you leap to proactive imagination and learn to connect with it logically and emotionally, and work from that future back to the present, meaning believe in the possibility of that future, in the impact you're creating, in the success of your business, logically and emotionally, because that's what blocks us at the end of the day. Even if you don't like to talk about emotions, emotions are what's stopping you. So if we actually take your logic, combine it with the emotional aspect as well, you will be limitless, truly. So basically, when you connect with that future logically and emotionally, you're then able to say, this is the future that I believe in that exists, that's the possibility, and now any action that I take and do now aligns with that future. So every action I take today, I say, is this aligned with my future self after I have achieved this? And if so, then I take the step, and if not, then no. This is how you build up. So basically, it's like you're stepping, if it's you're like at the top of the mountain, pulling yourself up rather than the bottom of the mountain climbing up. It's a different transformation altogether. And right now it seems like words to you and you logically understand what I'm saying. The more you practice, the more you will feel what that means, to pull yourself up rather than to climb up. Two different perceptions, two different minds altogether. Okay, just breaking down exactly what I told you about reactive imagination versus proactive. First of all, they're all made of imagination. The same form of imagination, you can use it for here or for there. It's the same capacity, okay? But we are doing the default, so that's reactive imagination. As we said, limited and defined by existing reality. So this is the reality. This is what you guys are trying to escape. The same thing works within current boundaries. And the most dangerous thing about reactive imagination is that we're doing today, and you've been doing it ever since you were 6, is that it starts from limitations. And the problem is the more you do limitations over and over again, I'm not creative, I'm not this, I can't do this, I can't do that, it is what it is. The more you reinforce that, they become like cement, more and more, thicker and thicker and thicker and thicker. The more you repeat it over and over again. So if we have to repeat and repeat to use our proactive imagination, what happens when we repeat our reactive imagination, we make the limitations more solid, harder to pass, harder to even think that there's another opportunity but the one that there is. Okay, so talking to you, I know that you know this, but it's still going to be a challenge between what you consciously know and what your subconsciously will do. So you have to practice to get over it. And just moving to another country, that's not going to do it. That's going to create a lot of stress and anxiety. So this is why we prepare the mindset to really give you the best step forward to doing this. So the two more points on this is that reactive imagination explains what already exists. This is where our logic comes in. We explain all the reasons why we can't, all the limitations, all the things that have been told us, all the self-made blocks that we have. We explain everything with perfect logic, and I can't tell you that you're wrong. You're absolutely right. But the choice to limit ourselves, that's on each and every one of you and me. And the last thing is that it risks leaving big ideas invisible and small, which is exactly why you're here, to not do that. Moving to proactive imagination, which is what we're going to do, it means that it is not defined by existing reality. That's the leap that we're taking. Not it is what it is. We're saying, but what if we could do that and believe that's a possibility? Second is it works from the imagined future backwards, like we mentioned. It sees obstacles as challenges to overcome, limitations when you know why you cross a limitation, when you know why you're doing this and what the future is and what is the impact and what is the gain and what are the benefits. then you have a reason to pass the limitations. And therefore, you will start taking a limitation, breaking it to the blocks, and seeing a way to bypass and go through them. They become a challenge. Same thing is for problem solving, same thing is for brainstorming, same thing is go-to-market, when you have to make people connect with what you want and to see the benefits for themselves. All these things are seeing obstacles and challenges to overcome instead of limitations. And two more things that it does, Proactive Imagine asks the what if to break those boundaries and self-made beliefs, and creates bold and relevant impact for a changing world, which is exactly what we're here to do. Up to now, we got a thumbs. We're with me. You have 2-7, you have hearts, you have lots of things that you can choose from. Be creative and what you do. There you go, exploding things. I love it. Boom. So basically, we're talking about proactive imagination, which is really the missing piece. When I say the missing piece, there's lots of things that are stuck that you know that you could do, but you're not. There are a lot of changes that you logically understand that you could do, and you don't understand why you're just not moving yourself. The missing piece that will actually make everything move is the ability to proactively imagine that future and work from it backwards. So basically, choosing to train it as your growth mindset drives the change needed to create the future that you choose. Literally so. The more you look at it from that prism, the more you will see opportunities and the ability to go through that. It's not magic. It's basically two people can see the same reality, but one works with a reactive mindset, one from proactive mindset. One will be successful because he will see or she will see the growth opportunity, and one will see the limitation. It's as simple as that. Are we get it? Great. Moving on. I'll skip this real quick. There's lots of keys for imagination. You might know these guys, Albert, Muhammad, and so on. They're all basically talking about the use of imagination. Very serious people, business people, Marianne Montessori, scientists, Abraham Zalesnik, with the businessman, and so on. I'm going to focus on Sir Ken Robinson, which is the bottom right. He's one of the most famous TED Talks. If you haven't seen him about education and creativity and so on, I urge you to go see. He mentioned that imagination and creativity are not the same, as we mentioned. Creativity is imagination in action. If you needed that split to understand that where you want to leap, and then creatively you will get there. Just to give you the big secret to using proactive imagination, how many want to know the secret? One wants to know the secret. Okay. Boya wants to know the secret. Anybody else? Ebra? All right, let's see. Here we go. I'm going to give you this secret, and we can just basically end it there. They knew how to make mud cakes from mud. That's it. We're done. If you understand this, we are literally done. And what's the point here? The point is that when you see mud as adults, we're walking by a puddle of mud with our nice clothes and our things, and we see this, we like, try not to touch it, try not to, it's dirty, it's wet, it's nasty, you have to do laundry, all the logical reason not to touch it. Kids, they see mud. What do? Anybody has kids here? Yep. They will dive into the mud. If you don't know, they're little creatures. They're like half our size, sometimes less. They are called kids. And what they do is they walk in there. They will grab the mud. They will start making mud cakes. They will start playing with it. They don't think that this is food. They don't think that this is not wet or cold or nasty, all these things. They see the mud, but they also see the creation of a mud cake. And for kids, the wonderful thing is that both these things are changeable. And all those people you just saw before, these guys, they know how to see the mud of the existing reality and imagine the growth opportunity, which is the mud cake. Okay? Now, the coexistence of mud and mud cake for kids, which you were once kids, believe it or not, you used to be kids. You used to be even age 5 if you reached this age. You probably passed age 5 along the way, in which point your imagination was at its peak. It was unblocked, unlimited. Nobody told you that. These are the rules to thinking creatively and imagining and all that. And at the same time, your logical side is already developed. So now you're just a minute before you enter the school system or the late kindergarten system. They start telling you black, white, yes, no, yes, creative, no creative, you're artistic, no artistic, so on, so on, and blocking you off. But before that, you had the ability to hold these two things as real. So the mud cake for kids, when the game is real, they can cut the cake, they can give it, they can add leaves to paying for it, they can create an entire rule system that is on this imaginative thing. Therefore, they're imagining and believing in the possibility of that future and acting from that future, which really sets the game. This is what kids are doing, and this is what you were able to do. Now imagine you can do that today. Well, exactly what we can't do, but we can do because we used to do it. So it's bringing it back. It's not asking you to be anything that you're not. It's just bringing it back and reconnecting you with that ability before you started self-blocking by accepting other people's limitations upon yourself. That's called self-made limitations. So basically, the existence of mud and mud cake says mud is what it is, and the existing limitations, the adversity, the truth, the status quo, aka the existing reality. And mud cake is what it can also be, which is not defined by what it is or the existing limitations. So this is called the growth mindset. What can be also? Yes, there's mud, but also the mud cake. They both coexist. So every shit situation that you have, every no, every failure, every setback, every lost client, every lost employee, every drop, end of a runway, whatever you want to bring me, which is the mud of the mud, the question is always, do you get stuck or do you imagine what the opportunity is?
Great.
Sorry to interrupt, but the thing is we are running out of
your time. So
running out of
time. Now we'll continue.
Okay, so basically I'll wrap it with two things and we'll jump to the end. You can see how the workshops run for a long time. The idea basically that we're going to be training, and I'm going to give you this and then one more tool to take. Okay, it's the imagination lets you create the change, to shape the future that you choose. And to do this, just to summarize everything we talked, it's about imagining and believing. And believe, I'm not talking about like religious belief. I'm talking about the self-belief that something is a possibility. So it means connect to it logically and emotionally to the experience of that future, and to that future that is not defined by the existing limitations. Okay, and once we do that, and you can take this and save this to you to repeat, is you take the actions now that align with your future reality, working backwards from the future change to now. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Cool. So what I want to show you is, as soon as I go, one more thing that I want you to take away. Okay, here we go. This is a tool that I invite you to start doing right now. Of course, it comes after a lot of hours, but I'm going to give you the gist of it, and I invite you to send over so we can look at this. But basically, there is no right way to do this. But the mindset is called, and I call this ABG. And this I work with executives and founders and whatnot to start this journey of understanding what the mud cake is every single time. So it's called an always be giving mindset to boost your confidence and so on. So the ABG table is it goes. For everything that you do, every event, I urge you to do this table. So we do this table for things that happen, and we do this table for things that will happen. Okay, understanding really what it is in this proactive imagination of the future we want to create. So first of all, the first column is the event itself. You start writing all the details of the event that we're analyzing. For example, a meeting. You have this meeting coming up, all the details of the meeting, we're really comfortable in the details, all the things that we want to say, we dump it over there. Then there is the first column that says, what opportunities do I give myself? So basically I call this apples. Apples of opportunity. Basically, we always talk about what we want to give others and what we want to do, what we want to achieve. We don't understand that in order for us to give anything to others, we must have something first. If I want to give any of you apples, what do I have to first have? Till someone says it. If I want to give you apples, Ebra, what do I need to have?
You should have the apple.
There you go. I need apples. Absolutely. And therefore, we understand that if we have to invest in ourselves, we have to give ourselves opportunities before we can give anybody else. And this is a simple truth that many of us do not remember when the time comes. So first of all, before you walk to the meeting, before you go in there, before anything happens, you're still sitting here, you list what opportunities do I give myself. I want to be able to listen. I want to be able to, I want to inspire myself. I want to be able to do this. These are the opportunities I want to give myself that are not defined by anything. This is what I want to give myself, the ability to listen to everything in a positive tone, and so on and so forth. You have to list the opportunities that are yours. And then from that, you can actually give others. What opportunities do you want to give others? Meaning, from those apples, now you can give others. If you want to first inspire yourself, only then can you inspire others. So I plan what it is that I want. And why do I do these two things? Because then comes the last column. Last column actually prepares us. So last column comes after the event happened, and we ask ourselves, was I defined or driven by the outcome? Meaning that if I wanted to give an opportunity of being positive and hearing good, was I defined by the mood of the meeting? Means if the outcome was not successful, does that mean that my opportunity is not good? Does that mean that I'm not good? That's what happens every single time. It sounds to you like it's, of course not, but if you think about it, every time that you don't succeed in what you want, you start questioning yourself. You start questioning the opportunities that you want to give yourself and you want to give others. So the more we do this, the more we start to understand, are we driven to give ourselves the opportunity, or are we really defined by the outcome? And the more we do this, the more we learn to disengage from the outcome, because now we don't care about it. But first and foremost, we want to focus back on the opportunity. So then we answer in a very yes, no. Was I defined or driven by the outcome? And just to call bullshit on that, we answer the next one, the QA question. Will I give myself the opportunity again? If the answer is yes, beautiful, then go back and do it again. If the answer is no, ask yourself, is it because you're really defined, or because you truly believe that you don't want to give that opportunity for yourself anymore? Now, this is a very high level of these things. The more you do this for every single day, and I'll send you a worksheet on how to do this, you will start developing your ability to see the opportunities, and from that, you'll be able to proactively imagine what it is you want to achieve. So this is a very down-to-earth way to develop the behaviors and the mindset. At the first 2 weeks, you will not understand what the hell's going on. After that, and I see this with every transformation that I coach for over a month, you realize that you start to shape the future of the meeting, the call, the interaction, the small coffee talk. Then you start initiating the changes that you want to create in yourself, but you have not. This is the way to really get down and do it, and not just think that would be great if I could. This is the work. Okay?
Right.
Thumbs up if you understand.
Yes.
Yes, great.
I'm sure
So,
that people will.
This is what I want you to do. This is the exercise that you should take away, and you're welcome to send, of course.
Yeah, we will send them over. Great, you are. Thank you. I'm really happy to hear these things, and I think that all the guys here started to just join the next workshop, and I thank you for this presentation. And here I am. Before giving some updates about the program overview, I will give it short, make it short. We will have a 13 minutes. We have started 5 minutes later, but since you have come with the idea of this imagination and now all this stuff, I would like to just give the floor to Peter Vesterbacka, who has joined us during your presentation. Talk about a few minutes, because we have only 13 minutes left, but I'm sure he has come up with the idea that who just make this imagination practical, did something big in the whole life. And then I'm really happy to have you here, Peter. The floor is yours.
Yeah, I think that again some excellent points there, and I of course have to agree. But I think that for me, I mean, if you look at, I would say typically the biggest challenge is exactly that I mean, we are not ambitious enough. I mean, and it's of course you can do anything, and I mean, I always use examples like, I mean, when I told the team at Rovio that we're going to go for 100 million downloads of Angry Birds, and this was very early days when we still had flyers at the office saying that Angry Birds 500,000 downloads. which we of course like laugh to now. That like really, I mean, come on, 500,000. But then nobody believed me, because back then nobody had done, you know, like 100 million downloads. So not even Tetris, you know, Tetris 20 years in the market, biggest game ever. Not even they had done that. And then yeah, people didn't believe that it was possible, and then it took 15 months and it was very much possible. So I think that of course we could have set as an ambition that, okay, let's go for 10 million, because I mean, when you have like 500,000, 10 million is like a lot. It's, you know, even more than 10x that we typically use as kind of like a good kind of like metric and good ambition. And then of course the world would look like very, very different. But I think that you know, this is kind of like my experience, that there are very, very few things out there that actually are impossible. So you know, first you think it's impossible, but then you can like learn how to do it, and then you can like realize that, yeah, actually maybe it wasn't such a big deal after all. So I think that that's something that you know, and the same thing. I mean, okay, I have the Slush logo here. I mean, like when we started Slush 2008, nobody believed that we could make it into the biggest and best startup event, you know, like on the planet, because hey, come on, like Peter, you know, Helsinki, and then like, what about Silicon Valley? And I was like, what about Silicon Valley? I mean, it's a fantastic place, you know, but you know, like been there, done that. You can't like lead by following. And then Slush has now become the biggest and best. I mean, last year we had 4 trillion in venture capital. So, you know, that's like 4,000 billion more venture capital than anywhere else, you know, like ever. So, yeah, it kind of like worked out. But I think that with all of these, if you look at Slush, you look at Angry Birds, few of these. So I'm a big believer in doing things differently. So if everybody else is doing what I would call these like wannabe Silicon Valley events, you know, the world is full of those. So then we organize Slush in November in Helsinki, and yes, it's cold and it's dark and there's slush on the ground. So it's not the Silicon Valley. It's better, and it's much, much better because it's different. And I think that is something that, again, you know, like talk a lot about like using our imagination and like all of that. And I think that we should, you know, again, use our imagination to think about how can we do things differently. And I was actually at this PropTech like pitching thing here in Helsinki like yesterday. And what I was telling the companies there, that I always ask that, like, what can I tell my friends about what you are doing? That is always what I kind of ask startups that are pitching to me. And in order for me to be able to tell my friends about your company, about your startup, first of all, I need to get excited about whatever you are doing. So it has to be ideally like different from all these other things that I've heard about, that it's, you know, oh, we do this B2B SaaS, yada, yada, blah, 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 you know, and then it's like, okay, interesting. I've heard a few of these, you know, before, but then, you know, so you need to, first of all, have something that can get people, you know, excited and kind of want to join like the cause. But then why I use this, that what can I tell my friends? I mean, there, in order for me to tell my friends, first of all, I need to get excited about what you do, but I also have to understand, and I have to be able to communicate what you are doing like very efficiently. So it's not like I have to get into half an hour of like pitching, you know, and hey, I met with these guys, and then I, you know, go on rambling like 30 minutes to explain. I mean, so you have to keep your pitch simple so that, you know, get people on board, get people excited, and then make it easy to tell your friends about like what it is, because then you have automatically built this kind of like, you know, virality, and that's kind of like, yeah, word of mouth marketing. So, you know, people tell their friends who tell their friends, and then like before you know it, the world knows about it. And if it's not like the whole world, then it's like 91% of everybody in India that knows Angry Birds, 93% in China, so 9 out of 10 people on the planet. And that's kind of like how it works. So and of course, I mean, then talking about like the brand, I mean, I use Angry Birds also as an example, that, you know, like when you hear Angry Birds first time, you will ask why are the birds angry? And once you ask that question, the brand is stuck in your head forever. So I have many examples of meeting startups. They have fantastic service, but then their brand is something generic, and then yes, I might remember the service, but then it's like, yeah, I met with these like people, and they were doing this like amazing service, but I can't remember the name of the company because it was something like, super generic. So also think about how you can create brand and story that is like memorable. I think that is, and like not something that you forget, like 2 hours later or something like that. So that's something that's very important. But yeah, that's just few thoughts on what's important, if you will.
Great, Peter. Again, happy that you could join and then make this happen today, and we're really happy you gave us this simple, easy, short, and then I'm sure like our audience, they can like talk about what you have.
Yeah, I'm happy to join like whatever other events you have then. So yeah,
definitely.
Yeah.
This is great. Thank you, Peter.
Thank you.
So just to move forward, a few words about what we have done. So we just tried to make it really small, simple this time through the reform that we have done in the past 7 years. 30 plus startups, 40 plus talents applied for this program within like such a short time. And we decided to not accept all of them, not only because they are good, but some of them, they were not good enough. But we also decided to keep this cohort small and high quality for maximum impact. So we just look at it as also a learning curve after this imagination, after this building up something different. And then at the same time, we started collaborating with the governmental bodies, both in Finland and in also the Netherlands, so Business Finland, Finnish Startup Community, Startup Refugee, and the Crazy Town. So these are the famous names that we have been discussing a lot during this summer and then before that. And we are open to continuous learning. So your feedback as Caravan guides and also startup co-founders will shape our journey and optimize it for the next cohort, which we are aiming to have it in the mid-January 2026. So we are not going to just rush and then make it fast. So next cohort should start next month. No, we need to just keep a bit learning together and then move forward. Now I'll give you the floor to say it. So just give a few words about these available 3 startups that we chose out of all the startups, and we will continue with them with this first book.
Hey everyone, I hope you've enjoyed the presentation so far. And I think it's better to add more or less 15 minutes to the meeting, because I think it's worth to stay a bit more and know our startups in the first cohort. So, and if you have any questions about any of these startups, feel free to join me after the sessions. I am available if you want, or if you want to know more about them, then we can actually have other meetings as well. So the first startup is WiseTrack, and if I want to give you a very short brief, as you probably heard about the conflict of logistics and insurance companies, especially for shipments of big containers. Usually they have a struggle when they get to different kind of claims. And if you, for example, imagine a company shipping different containers to Finland, there are many different solutions at the moment that they can track the location of those containers, but the problem is they don't have such a services for the conditions of those containers. So if they have any problems after arriving in the destinations, then it's way easier and it's more transparent for both sides to understand those claims and in general with the whole solution they have on blockchain. and recording all the conditions during the shipment, then it will be way easier to see if there is any problem with insurance or not. The next solution, can you go to the next one? So far, we have let's say more than 15% of whole world populations has disability. And along with that, we have more than 1.2 billion elderlies as well. It means together 1/4 of whole world have actually special needs. And so far, we don't have any tailored marketplace for people with the special needs, that's including both elderlies and people with disabilities. And OpenAble actually working on a solution, which is all-in-one tailored marketplace for people with the special needs. But as it is a bit visionary and very big market, their entry point is accessible tourism. And they start with accessible tourism, and we can consider it as their mission. And last but not least, can you go to the next one? Verifier, which is still their name is not final, but for now at least we can call them Verifier. They are working on a KYC solution. And their main differentiator is the way that I actually collect, for example, the pictures and everything. Instead of collecting like normal KYC pictures, they consider different patterns, and it helps more precision for verification and authentication. Definitely. Regarding cybersecurity and GDPR, it makes more sense to not collect all those pictures of people. And the only thing I need to add is Verifier and OpenAble are moving to Netherlands, and Wisetrack, they are relocating to Finland during our program. Ebra?
Yes, great say. Thank you for that. This is like the beginning of this journey, and then we are happy to have these selected teams out of the ones who applied. And I'm happy, and then I'm also very, very excited and believing that in the next cohort we have like mostly also amazing guys as our current cohort team. And the participant of these application rounds, they were like good guys, good people with a lot of talents, but we were not convinced enough to just make something exciting in their journey. And so for just forward. To just wrap it up, I would like to also talk about like our next journey. So we will continue with this startup cohort until most probably the next 5 to 6 months, depending on the readiness of our startups for their applications. And again, thank you guys. You joined this cohort and this kickoff session from this Friday. The next sessions will continue with each sessions and each mentors and the startup teams. And once again, Caravantures is not just a program to accelerate and incubate the teams and startups. Is the borderless community and the network that we are building together. And I would like to invite you to stay engaged, to collaborate, and then share feedback. We are using a solution, AI solution, to just analyze and monitor our each session of this cohort. And then later on, we have a big plans for that. So through Caravantures solutions, we will like create AI twins and then also like analytic programs. We have like big plans. And the The next will come these networking sessions, workshops, and the future events. We are preferring to have it on site with you guys somewhere in this planet, most probably in Finland. And we are waiting for that. Wish all these three teams and then these guys a successful journey. Anything you come up with the idea of feedback, just share it with us. Give feedback, share the stories, and then anything. And then I think, Said, you will give them the opportunity how they can share about their experiences during this journey, after each session or after each milestone. And then I'm really happy to meet you guys here for the first time or reunion. And then thank you again to Peter and you all who joined and then gave us these excellent speeches. So this is the last of this session, but not the last of all the program. We were all waiting for the future sessions, and if I have the time, I would like to join some sessions personally to see if I can add anything to those mentors. But we are relying and trusting all our mentors. We believe that they are excited to just make it even bigger with you guys, and then meet you after these online journeys, online meetings and online sessions in Finland or in the Netherlands. And next time, let's hope for something bigger through this network. And we are all great guys. Thank you again. Wish you a nice evening wherever you are, and happy you could make it today.
Okay, thank you very much.
Good night. Thank
Thanks a lot.
you.
Thank you.
Good night.
Bye.
Thank you. Goodbye. Good night.
Thank you. Bye.
Good night. Bye-bye.